Hello, welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. We have two American blended whiskeys, both bottled in Kentucky. One is just American blended whiskey. One is specifically Kentucky blended whiskey, which means all the whiskeys in the blend come from Kentucky. So this is an old brand. I wouldn't say it's a famous brand. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of these lately because I'm really trying to expedite it to get to the Canadian, really exciting Canadian one. But this is Sunny Brook. I've never seen it in Louisiana. I bought this in Orange, Texas at Red Dot Liquors. It was $6.89 for a liter bottle, believe it or not. I bought this 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago. There's the government inspector. No liquor can leave that warehouse until that guy inspects it in his 1891 uniform. This was introduced in 1891. And that's their kind of like their thing. None genuine without this trademark. Guardian of quality for generations. Sunny Brook Kentucky blended whiskey. This is a Kentucky whiskey of noticeably finer taste. I'm not sure I believe that, with a special smoothness and mildness, which are the result of masterful blending. Blended and bottled by the old Sunny Brook Distillery Company. Ha ha ha. Frankfort and Claremont, Kentucky. Well, anytime you see Frankfort and Claremont, Kentucky, that means Beam Suntory, Jim Beam Company. 40% alcohol. I don't see a trademark indication on here, but they're saying that is the trademark. It doesn't say registered trademark U.S. Patent Office, but it says none genuine without this trademark of the inspector guy. I don't know if that suffices for an official trademark, but that's what they're saying. There's the smiling government inspector. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I overlooked it. Age 4 years, 20% straight whiskey, 80% grain neutral spirits. So it does have an age statement. Let me correct that. King of the Dots, Geary says, you rang. Yes, I rang. Hello. Thanks for chiming in. All right. I'm going to correct that right now. I hate to make these mistakes, but it happens. Aged 4 years. No website listed. They used to have it on the Beam Suntory website in their portfolio, but they took it down. I don't know why. Can you believe that NFL football is so boring? I need to watch Ron. Well, it is. I didn't think it was boring earlier. I watched the entire New Orleans Saints game hosting the Carolina Panthers. I watched the game start to finish, and it was very good. Interesting. Ended 10-7. The New Orleans Saints lost, which that wasn't good for us because we were pulling for them. But it was a very good game, and they had some mistakes, turnovers, people wide open dropping passes. But I just not after 3 hours. Well, actually, it was only 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was a short game. But after that, I don't want to watch more. I did watch a lot of highlights already. The Dolphins game, Steelers, Patriots at the Bills, Colts and Texans, Bears, Vikings. So I watched all those highlights. Is Dave going to join on Wednesday for Natty Daddy? He might. I like Andy, but he isn't a closer. Great hair, though. Yeah. I don't really think it's his fault. I think he could get the job done, but they got to get more production around him. He's not perfect, and I'm not going to sit here and say he's great or anything, but I mean, they got people he throws the ball right in their hand, they drop it. It's just sickening. All right, now the competitor or the control group is Quality House, not the competitor, the control group. Quality House, signet of quality. You like that's got a crown. $5.99 a bottle's got a crown. You say, yeah, it's the king of the cheapos. Oh yeah, okay. What does it say? Blended. Hard to read it backwards. Blended whiskey with natural flavors. 35% alcohol, bottled by Quality Control Distilling Company. Bardstown, Kentucky. Well, let me tell you, Quality Control Distilling is an alias of Heaven Hill. You're allowed to have an alias as long as it's registered with the government so they can keep track. Contains caramel color, natural flavors. I don't know what the natural flavors are, but it smells kind of like it's something like walnut oil and vanilla extract. Kind of simple, not an extraordinary array of natural flavors, but something like that. Now, Sunnybrook, like I said, $6.89 for this liter bottle. If you bought a regular bottle, it would be probably about $5.99. So they're about the same price. And this is aged 4 years. Now it's a blend now, so it's 20% straight whiskey. Probably Jim Beam that didn't come out right. Jim Beam's aged 4 years, right? Aged 4 years, get it? And it's 80% grain neutral spirits, which means grain spirits that haven't been aged to become whiskey. Now, how long do grain spirits have to be aged to become bourbon? Anyone want to guess? If you take clear, odorless, colorless ethanol, grain neutral spirits, and you put them in has to be a new charred oak barrel, right? You know that. These are straight whiskeys, so these are made with straight whiskey, so it has to be new, never before used virgin charred oak barrels. Look at my hair, it looks crazy. But for how long? Anyone want to guess? I like Landshark. It's because I never had it. Oh, King of the Dots. Landshark's pretty good. Special video request says equally wrong. Someone asked me to try a beer called Landshark. Can you do a video and give your opinion of the beer? Oh, you're saying that before Gary said his. Yeah, my hair, I just washed my hair, so it's kind of like puffy, you know. I let it dry naturally. At least I have hair. My hair is thick. What was I gonna say? I've done a number of Landshark videos. I have a lot of Landshark videos. Here's a can. We don't see these around anymore. These are pint cans, but we get the bottles like crazy. All right, time to roll. It's not great, but it's good. Okay. Now, do you have to pay? Here's the question. Can you get a great whiskey for $5.99? I don't know. You can't with these two. These two are not great. They're tolerable. They have some. Cool. Yeah, look them up. You'll probably like the videos. These are not wedding gifts. You would not give these as a wedding gift. You would buy them for like basic cocktail making. You know what I'm saying? But not to impress friends and family. I don't think anybody's going to come over and say, "Oh, wow, Sunnybrook, I'm amazed." They'll probably come over and say, "Wow, Sunnybrook, what is that?" You know. Now, in 1935, they might have said, "Wow, Sunnybrook, I'm amazed." They used to make Sunnybrook straight bourbon. They might still make Sunnybrook straight bourbon, but I have the blended one. Okay, I think you might have a drinking problem, son, says Steve Cigar. And what leads you to that opinion or to that assumption? Unless you might have meant to say a drinking hobby. And it's not a drinking hobby. I'm tasting anyway. Tasting them. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to drink them. Oh, well, you got to deal with it, right? I'm not adding inflation. You sip every day. Yeah, but I sip responsibly. All right. So they both are golden. And this one has sediment all throughout, and that must be, oh, that might just be water in there. I don't know. I see sediment personally. What is that? I think it's just a reflection, because when I'm looking down in it, I don't see anything floating in it. I think it's a reflection of that light. Oh, excuse me. I know people that have drinking problems now. Believe me, you. Believe you, me. They just about lit up all the time. I've seen some local men waiting for the store to open so they can stop shaking and get their brew. Yeah, I've seen that too. It's a shame. It's not even noticed, but every liquor has increased its profits 30%. Hadn't done that study. All right, so they're both amber, kind of a tan, gold, tan, amber, clear, mostly. Although if you look at Quality House under the light, you can see a lot of sediment. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of Heaven Hill. That's not the only one. That Tom Sims Heaven Hill straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that I had 4-year age, that thing was full of sediment. It was crazy. I guess maybe it's possible they don't really bother to filter their whiskeys. Maybe the low end brands, like, because Tom Sims was like $9 on sale. It's normally about $12 straight bourbon, but maybe they just figure, man, those fans aren't gonna look at it, put it in a glass and look at it under the light and say, oh, look at the interesting facets. They're just gonna blend it with V8 juice or great value tomato juice and drink it, stuff like that. And they might be right. They just might be right. Now, some people claim if you don't filter, it's going to be better, richer flavor and all. I don't know. Let's go with it. The challenge. Yeah. Vanilla, corn. Mainly corn, then vanilla. So corn is the first. Makes sense. Corn based, basically mostly corn. Vanilla, that oil, nut oil. Yeah. Same here, but not as much aroma. So it's like the same aroma, but a less of a presentation of it. They're mostly empty, but some of them are full because the Michelob, you've known a lot of ministers who could outdrink you, huh? Yeah, well, all right. The Michelob bottles with the shroud are still full of beer because if you pour the beer out, you'll tear the paper shroud and you'll ruin the bottle. So those are from 1996 and they're still full of beer. I wouldn't dare drink it, but I had to keep the beer in there because it would ruin it, the paper shroud. All right, so I think by aroma that's the Sunnybrook and that's the Quality House. So Sunnybrook introduced in 1891. It's a real brand. It's not some made up thing. I mean, it was made up in 1891, but you understand it's been around that long. The company is gone. They got bought out so long ago. Quality House was never its own company. It was just a brand, a line, a brand extension, if you want to call it, whatever you call that, introduced by Heaven Hill in 1980. Heaven Hill is a family-owned distilling company that was established in 1933. Okay, you say it's funny that they call it Quality House and it's $5.99 a bottle. Yeah, well, it's sort of quality, honestly. All right. If you look at it with in the right context, you understand. So what do we get here? We get the flavors of sugar water. That's from the sweet corn. Vanilla. That's probably from the vanilla extract flavoring that they're adding. A little bit of charred oak from the straight bourbon in there. and maybe like I said, almond extract or walnut oil, probably from the nut extract that they add in to give it flavor. So they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to add flavor into these blended whiskeys. That's the truth. Whether you approve of that or not, I don't know, but that's the case. They won't do that with straight bourbon. Well, they can't do it, but with these things, no, you can actually add flavor in the straight bourbon. You just can't sell it as straight bourbon. You got to sell it as bourbon with natural flavors on the label. You say, well, big whoop, it's still bourbon. I know, but technically it's not bourbon anymore. That's kind of like cutting it kind of thin, huh? But it's the truth. All right. Am I noticing a big difference between these two? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm noticing that this one in my right hand doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. Has some, but not a whole lot. Kind of washed out. And that means it's washed out because it's 70 proof. It's not high enough proof. And legally, it has to be 80 proof. So this is not even a legal whiskey. Legally, it's not a whiskey because it's not 80 proof. And I know what you're going to say. Well, the label says blended whiskey. It does say that. But it's not a whiskey. It's a distilled specialty. I'm sorry, a distilled spirit specialty, DSS, distilled spirit specialty, subcategory, flavored whiskey. Funny, huh? So technically, this is not a whiskey. It's a distilled specialty spirit called flavored whiskey. I know it's ridiculous, huh? But it's the truth. What's that sound? Let me go see what that sound is. Huh. I'm surprised it's raining. I thought the rain was clearly over with. That's a shock. We'll see what the rain does. Got to close all the windows if it keeps raining hard. I don't think it's going to rain long. Letting fresh air in. So, is the quality house quality? Well, yeah, because it doesn't have any off flavors, off aromas, nastiness. It's kind of smooth, easy to drink. Now I get the point if you're saying no, it's not quality because they're adding some kind of flavoring like vanilla or almond extract or blending sherry. They can actually add that to whiskey, sherry, huh? It's a type of wine. They're adding caramel color. That's fake, blah blah blah. Okay, I totally get that. But that's what it is. You understand? I bought it. That is what it is. So for what it is, it's not bad. The flavors are not bad. They're not technically true bourbon flavors, but they're not bad flavors. Okay, over here. Same story. There's nothing nasty about it. It tastes like I just told you, corn, sweet corn, sugar water, vanilla. I say almond extract, but it might be walnut oil or something. Companies buy these things like in bulk. There's nothing bad about it. You're not gonna, if you're like, oh no, I'm a serious bourbon drinker. I only buy $80 bottles. I'm looking for some Stag or some Hancock or Blanton's. I'm looking for Pappy Van Winkle, 3-year age. I'm looking for Booker's, okay. There's nothing wrong with that, actually. I don't take issue with that. I know people that won't even think about drinking a bourbon that's under $100 a bottle, and they always try. You got Colonel E.H. Taylor or whatever it is, and they're really into it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's their money. Let them buy what they want. But they would be appalled by these things. They would just think, oh, this is just beyond the pale. In that context, it is. But in the context of just a product to buy and you're not too picky, yeah, it's fine. If you're not too picky. Okay, so I mean, there's got to be a perspective on it, and it cuts both ways. You got the low end people. They always talking bad about the people that want to drink the hoi polloi products, but yet you're guilty of the same prejudice you claim that they have. And then you got the hoi polloi people, and they do the same thing. It's like they worrying about. It's like why are you even worrying about people that drink these kind of products? You up there drinking expensive bourbon, so why are you worried about somebody drinking Sunnybrook? It doesn't matter. Let them drink it. Probably not gonna hurt them unless they do too much of it. Okay, so you kind of have to look at things from both sides now. Like you have to be like Joni Mitchell. You have to be like Joni Mitchell and look at life from both sides now. And then you'll realize that you really don't understand life at all. That is, it's life's illusions you recall. You really don't understand life at all. And it's you say, I look at clouds, I understand. You don't understand clouds. That's clouds' illusions that you recall. You really don't understand clouds at all. But anyway, no, I mean, I think I entertain myself really. I think that's the Heaven Hill Quality House. Would I buy it again? Well, it's a moot point because I ain't never seen it in Louisiana. I bought it in Texarkana, Arkansas, and that's a 9-hour drive. No, not 9 hours. It's 5.5 hours. Well, what difference does that make? I wouldn't drive an hour to buy it, So, but I mean, if I ran across it, I would theoretically buy it. So this is the Quality House, and it's it's all right. It's all right. What bourbon is used in it? Probably some reject bourbon from Heaven Hill that they admitted on their interview with whiskey.com that they just cast it off into these blends. Yeah, it's fine. Because with something like this, you're not going to be too like, your breakdown is not going to be so fine. You know what I'm saying? It is the Quality House. Good. I did it. I did it. Now, this rain has got me a little mixed up. I'm looking at a clear sky. There's no clouds right there. All right. Sunnybrook. Now, I had a viewer. I don't hear from him anymore, but these people, they come and go. They use all kind of alias names. Who knows who they are? But he was saying, Sunnybrook, if you ever get to try it, it's the worst blended whiskey ever. It's terrible. It's horrible. It's a nightmare and so forth. I said, well, that makes me want to try it even more because, if it's just ordinary, I wouldn't care. So I found it and I thought, oh, I got to buy it. I've heard so many bad things about Sunnybrook, but it wasn't bad. You think it's been on the market since 1891 being that horrible? I don't think so. Now, like I said, you might see Sunnybrook white label. That would be the bottle and bond. You might see Sunnybrook in a black label, and that would be the regular straight bourbon. But this is the blended. But I was glad to find this. So it's like all these liquor companies, they always have like the same protocol, like Ezra Brooks. There you go, Ezra Brooks. At the bottom, they got the 80 proof white label Ezra Brooks blended whiskey. It's a blend of straight bourbon, 20%, and 80% unaged whiskey. Clear grain alcohol. I saw it in the store not that long ago. I didn't buy it because I got too much backstock. Then they go up to the 90. Then their next level is their 90 proof Ezra Brooks, only aged about 4 years. And then it goes to, they got the straight rye. Then they got their bottle and bond. They got their single barrel. They got their small batch and so forth. And all the companies do it. They got the same kind of like format. At the bottom, they got the blended. Then it's the straight bourbon. Then it's the bottle and bond, the small batch, single barrel. Okay. So Sunnybrook, I would almost guarantee, but I can't guarantee because I don't know. I'm just saying theoretically, I think it's Jim. It does taste kind of like Jim Beam, honestly. It's 4-year aged. I think, and I'll never be able to prove it because those companies keep these recipes close to the vest. But I think it's probably Jim Beam that didn't come out correct. Like when they did the tasting, if you did the tasting and I did the tasting, we'd say, yeah, it tastes good. It tastes like Jim Beam. But these experts, they're like, oh no, it's got this flaw, but you and I would never detect that, So I think my hair looks like Liberace. I'm gonna start living like him. I'm gonna adopt his lifestyle. But no, not really, because I can't play the piano. But I did take piano lessons and failed miserably due to my abject lack of talent, not to mention interest. But anyway, it would make sense to me that Jim Beam products that don't live up to what they're supposed to live up to, they just blend it off and they make this. No problem. Tastes all right. It's not anything, like great, but it's okay. Now, when they do let's say after 2 years, they start testing the Jim Beam. And they're like, this barrel's off. It ain't never going to get right. I don't care what heat, I don't care where we put it. We can lay it out in the grass in the sun. It ain't never going to be okay. So they probably take that and make the Jim Beam 8-star. You say 8-star? What the? Yeah. I just saw it the other day, last week. Jim Beam, the last day of 2022, I saw Jim Beam 8-star. You say that's a real product. Yeah, it's a real product. It's called Beam's 8-star. It's aged 2 years. And I think it's probably a 2-year aged Jim Beam that they know ain't going to get straight. So they just dump it. It's not too bad, though. Not too good either, but it's not too bad. All right. So they're talking back and forth, kind of kidding around. Geary and this other guy, Steven Cigar. Hector says, I don't mind blended whiskeys, but I usually use it for mixing. Fair enough. What's really popular in the world? Blended Scotch, right? So, and blended Irish whiskey. What am I thinking? Jameson, blended Irish whiskey, super popular. Blended Scotch like Johnny Walker, Red Label, Ballantine's, blended Scotch, Dewar's. Those are really popular. Canadian whiskey, obviously Crown Royal, one of the world's most popular whiskeys. It's blended. These products, they're not too popular, obviously, but there are some popular American blended whiskeys. I could get one out the cabinet. You know what I'm talking about. 7 Crown, Seagram 7. Every liquor store sells Seagram 7. And it's costs more and it's better. It's a better product than all of these things. But these aren't bad. These aren't bad. They're not bad. You got to get used to them a little bit, though. They kind of get a little funny in the taste when you first try them. But once you get a taste for them, like I have, after multiple samplings, Steven Cigar says you got a drinking problem. It's not a drinking problem. I told you it's a drinking hobby. I meant to say a tasting hobby. But when you get to taste and hobby, get it? When you get to taste for them, yeah, it kind of works out. You'll start to get an appreciation for them. But then I am trying to expedite it. But I'm looking forward to that Crown Royal XO. When I bring that in, but that is going to That's going to clear the table. You know, Crown Royal XO is going to knock them all off the table. There is no Canadian whiskey I own that's going to compete with Crown Royal XO. I cannot see that happening. No way. It's going to kill them. It's going to just be a wipeout. I can't wait. After we do that, then we've got some Irish whiskey. I have some little peculiar Irish whiskeys coming up, like Two Gingers. You say Two Gingers? Yeah, it's a real product. I've seen it at a bunch of stores lately. Two Gingers. And it's made by a big company too, like, you know, a major company like Jameson, but it's not by them. It's not them, but it's one of those other big companies. Like everybody would say, oh, everybody heard of that. I think it's actually Beam Suntory owns a distillery. Beam, you know, I think they make Two Gingers. It's starting to come. It must be some promotion. I mean to say it must be some strategy that they're taking on in the last year, because all of a sudden I'm starting to see two Gingers everywhere. So I'll say, oh, okay. And Beam's behind it, so that's who's got it. You're seeing it all around. It's kind of cheap, but it might be good. I never had it. I can't pass judgment on it. I got some scotch coming up, blended scotch. Oh yeah, I got some really good blended scotch. But before that, I had some single malt. I have a great single malt, Glenrothes. Not Glenrothes. I've had that. I'm sorry. It's actually aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels. Crazy, right? It's called. I got it for like half price. I got it for like 60% off. It's crazy. It's a true story. I'll show it to you if anybody wants to see it. That's going to be a great single malt. Glengassaugh. That's what it's called. Glengassaugh. I knew I'd think of it. Glengassaugh. It's called the Expedition. Glengassaugh Expedition. Oh, that is going to be so great. And then I've got the blended scotch. And then I've got the 3 Barrels brandy from France. It's 3 Barrels is a really old company. An old French brandy company called Reynal SE. And but they their products are distributed by La Martiniquais. And so this is apparently the #1 brandy in England. It's called 3 Barrels. The #1 brandy in England, 3 Barrels. But they can't sell it over here. Probably some other little obscure company got the trademark for 3 Barrels. So they call it Reynal, which is the name of the company, Reynal. But if you go to England, it's 3 Barrels. But it's the same label, same exact label. Just say Reynal instead of 3 Barrels. And I got a good deal on that. And that's from the La Martiniquais and in France. And then I've got rum. Oh, I have some interesting rums. You won't believe it. They're not expensive, but they're interesting, you know. And then I got some interesting tequila and some really fascinating mezcals. I don't even know how to approach those. And some rye whiskey. When we get back to whiskey, that takes you through the whole year, right? All right, let's look at the comments. Ron, do you think that some bottling is inexact science, so some bottles could vary? I don't know anything about that industry. So which one is better? Oh, which of these is better? I'm going to give the win to Sunnybrook because it doesn't have a better flavor per se, but it has a more pronounced flavor. In other words, the flavors are the same. It's like the same flavor, but this one has a fuller flavor. I think that's by virtue of its proof. So yeah, I would go with Sunnybrook. And for the price, who could complain? Have you given tequila a break for now? Hector says. I have given it a break just because I have to go through the lineup. You know, I do it in order. It's a definitive process. I always go in order. Rye whiskey first, straight bourbon, then blended whiskey, blended Canadian whiskey, blended Irish whiskey, blended Scotch whiskey, straight single malt Scotch whiskey, then blended Scotch, then brandy, then rum, gold or white or black, doesn't matter. Then tequila, then mezcal, then back to the rye. So always go in order, yeah. So I'll be back to tequila, don't worry. Quality House just sounds like a bargain brand to me when you first hear it. It is a bargain brand. It is a bargain brand. That's why it was $5.99. Oh, this light. It's a good light, but it's a little too bright when you try to showcase the product. It is more pronounced flavor, but this is only 70 proof, so it's weaker. It's not going to have the flavor as weak. They always prove inferior, Angelo. Well, it's inferior because it doesn't have the alcohol by volume. It's only 70 proof. So it's not a fair, this challenge wasn't really fair to start with because 70 proof versus 80 proof is not really fair, you know. But anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. So y'all take care. We'll be back Monday. That's tomorrow. I don't know about that, but Tuesday morning, I do plan to be on Tuesday morning with another taste challenge. For sure. Yep. God willing. Y'all take care now.